All right. So what are the actual factors that affect an e-commerce implementation? Now, look, there could be lots, but let's focus on some of the big ones. Number one is going to be your licensing cost. You're going to pick a platform and you have to pay that platform provider or that software provider some sort of licensing fee. The next thing you're going to have to decide is, are you going to spend money on a custom design and customizing the user experience? Or are you going to use some of the out-of-the-box templates or out-of-the-box widgets that the platform is going to provide you? How many integrations are you going to have to go through? And what kind of payment gateway and security measures are going to be taken? That's really the high level. Those are the big things that are going to impact your e-commerce implementation. Now, obviously, what kind of solution provider or partner you choose, your system integrator is going to make a difference, how much experience they're going to be bringing. They're going to also be costs after you go live. You're going to have to register your domain name. You're going to have to host the software potentially. You're going to have to do your marketing and SEO efforts to drive traffic. There's going to be ongoing maintenance support, but those things come after the implementation. Let's focus on those first three I spoke about, those first four that I spoke about, and really talk about what it takes then to implement an e-commerce solution. So the first thing you're going to do is choose a platform. There's the big ones out there. There's Shopify, there's Salesforce, Commerce Cloud, there's Magento, there's WooCommerce. There's a whole bunch out there. You're going to have to pick a platform. Now, this video is not going to be about how to pick a platform. We can go into that a little bit later. But let's say you picked your platform. The first big decision you're going to make when you pick a platform is, how customized do you want your e-commerce experience? Now, a lot of times when people think about e-commerce experience, you guys are thinking about the design. What does my website look like? Actually, that's the cheaper part of actually customizing your website. Here's how I want you to think about it. Every website has an out-of-the-box user experience. Every website or every platform has an out-of-the-box set of features. What we often confuse is, what does an out-of-the-box feature mean versus what an out-of-the-box experience means. So for example, every single platform that I've mentioned today is going to have a login, is going to have a forgot password flow, is going to have a checkout flow, it's going to have search. When your business users or when your business is saying, hey, I want my checkout to look a certain way, I want it to offer a specific type of experience, it's usually a combination of functionality and features and the actual user experience. The more customized and the more unique this becomes for your brand, the more expensive it's going to be. So your website design and customization is going to be one of your first major expenses. When you're there, you're looking at anywhere from $25,000 all the way up to $500,000 to $1 million, $500,000 to $1 million to do a full user experience design and study. That includes user research, designs, often can be over a 6-month project. Or you can just use the out of the box, which oftentimes can cost you as little as $25,000 because you're just going to make small tweaks, some CSS to get your colors on there, and you're going to use your out of the box template. Now, which one's right for you? That's a very personal question for your business. I'm always a big believer in start with the simplest out of the box that you can. Understand where your clients are getting impacted the most. Understand what your clients are asking for more, and then spend the money to really optimize that experience. So website design and customization, there's a whole range of things that you could be doing. Cost you anywhere from $25,000 all the way up to $1 million. And always remember that you have to think about the differences between functionality and user experience design. Those are two different things, but they often get confused. All right, the next big cost that often keeps our clients awake at night is integrations. You've got to integrate some really basic concepts and really what we call basic objects or basic business entities into your e-commerce website. I'm going to name some of them off. You got to get your product in there, right? You got to get all your inventory in there. You get your pricing in there. You got to get your promotions in there. You've got to get your customers in there. You've got to get your orders out of there. All these things and more have to get integrated with your e-commerce solution. Now, what does an integration actually mean? In the simplest sense, we've got to get data from one of your core systems into your e-commerce, and we've got to get data out of your e-commerce into your core systems. That's all it means. Now, you could do that as a one-time load. You could upload all your customer data, all your product data, all your pricing data, all your inventory, everything as a one-time load as a CSV. This is obviously the cheapest way to do it. Oftentimes what your partner will say is, hey, why don't you just get me everything in an Excel file or a CSV, a comma separated file, and I will go ahead and upload that into, let's say, Salesforce Commerce Cloud for you. And then all of a sudden, all your data is there. What's the problem there? Obviously, the data is static. It's never changing. Your business, especially if you're a larger $300 million plus business, is always changing. Your inventory, your pricing, what products you're offering, the content for your product is always changing. So what they want to often do is have an integration between a source system and a target system. And when we say source system, it could be a lot of systems, but we always recommend creating the right architecture so that you have the right system of record. So when you're looking at integrating, now you're talking about a different level of cost. And integration costs are some of the hardest ones to define because it's really the biggest cost in integrating between, let's say, your ERP and your new system, let's say Salesforce Commerce Cloud, is going to be how clean is your data and what type of experience you want to provide downstream. Now, in a general rule of thumb, I would if your data is relatively clean and you're doing a relatively simple website implementation where you're an automated integration with all your catalog data, customer data, order data, pricing data, but your data is not very complex, you could probably get by with an integration cost of somewhere between $50,000 to $150,000. The major chunk of this is time and having the right integration architecture. You're going to have schedulers, i.e., when is my pricing data going to get updated? Is it going to get updated in real time? So if your ERP updates, are you going to instantly push that data to your system? Probably not. That could be quite expensive from a performance standpoint. Most likely you're going to have this on a schedule, maybe every night or twice a day or 4 times a day. Again, work with your system integrator to figure out what's the right for you. That integration architecture, getting that all set up is what really takes time. And then setting up the definitions between what are your source elements, i.e., you might call price PRC, and your target system might call it PRICE. So you've got to do that source to data mapping, but then you also might have business rules that if my price is this way, then you need to do this. If my price is that way, you need to do that. Those business rules need to get understood. So the biggest cost in integrations is A, is your data clean? And B, doing the source to target or the target to source mappings and making sure that all the business rules on the data mappings are understood. The actual implementation of the integration is probably 30% of the cost. So again, for a simple implementation, you're looking at anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000. For more complex implementations, it could go way up. And again, if your data is not clean, you might actually have a master data project on your hands before you actually have an e-commerce implementation on your hand. And then finally, your payment gateways and security measures. Thankfully, nowadays, there's a lot of this stuff that comes out of the box. If you buy a lot of the more enterprise grade platforms, they'll have a lot of security measures already implemented because they'll own the hardware that's hosting. They'll have all of the security protocols necessary to make sure that your data is secure in their servers. And then your payment gateways are typically charging you anywhere from 2 to 4%, or maybe 2.5 to 4% of your order total to process an order. Now, if you're a B2B organization and you're also going to be implementing things like punch out, or you're going to be accepting payment terms like net 30, net 60, net 90, obviously those costs are directly dependent on what your processing firms are charging you. But typically, rule of thumb for your payment gateways and security measures, anticipate anywhere from 3 to 4% of your order totals to have that going. So what have we got? You got your platform selection costs, you got your website design and customization cost, you've got your integration with existing systems costs, and you got your payment gateways. Now, platform selection is obviously one price. That's going to vary by platform. Your website design and customization, anywhere from $25,000 up to $1 million. Your integration with your existing systems, anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000. Your payment gateway costs are anywhere between 3 to 4%. And then when you add this all together with the cost of actually bringing in your system integrator to do this work, here's how I break it down. For your do-it-yourself platforms, if you're launching a Shopify basic site and a WooCommerce site, and you're building a relatively nice site, that Shopify has a lot of great out-of-the-box templates, I think you should be able to get by with anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 for Shopify Basic. Now, mid-tier platforms, Shopify Advanced, BigCommerce, I think you're looking at anywhere in that $50,000 to $150,000. Now, enterprise level platforms like Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Magento, where you're looking to really drive serious revenue from your e-commerce site, flexibility, performance, complex pricing, complex configurations. You're a manufacturer distributor that's looking to support your distributors or support your end business buyers. You're probably looking somewhere around $300,000 to $500,000 to do an implementation. And this should get you everything. This should get you your website design and customization. More on the out of the box side, you should be able to do all your integrations to all your core source to target systems, and those should be automated integrations with proper security, implementation of a middleware platform like a MuleSoft, so that you can manage those integrations. You should have your payment gateway all set up, and then all your content, all your imagery, everything should be set up from soup to nuts. That includes design. Sorry, that includes the requirement capture. It includes all the design work. It includes the implementation and includes testing. So for an enterprise level platform, somewhere in that $300,000 to $500,000 range. Now, of course, we've done implementations that we've seen have costed our clients north of 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15. We've seen projects run into $50 million. We've never done one of those, but there are some really, really large implementations that take a lot of different things into account. It could go up there, but if you are a company, again, $300 million up in revenue, that's looking to launch an enterprise class platform, $300,000 to $500,000 should give you a fantastic opening experience on, say, something like Salesforce Commerce Cloud, something that you could really be proud of, something that'll form the foundation. But again, your goal is to generate a return on investment, and you should be looking at, hey, what are the challenges that this implementation is going to solve for me? Is it going to make my sales reps' lives easier? Is it going to make my buyers' lives easier? What are they going to be able to do? And what are the results that that's going to get you? So if you're going to be spending $300,000 to $500,000 on an implementation, I'm looking for at least a 10x return on investment. If your partner cannot show you how that's going to generate $3 to $5 million to your bottom line over the course of the next 12 to 36 months, there's something wrong. If you're going to spend that much money, you should be able to level up to 3 million to 5 million added to your bottom line, and definitely make that worth your time and worth your investment, and worthwhile the money that you're putting into the experience of launching that platform. All right, so we've gone over the factors affecting e-commerce. We've gone over the cost ranges for different e-commerce solutions, from consumer basic sites to mid-tier platforms to enterprise platforms, and we've gone over what we think are the right things to look into when you're looking to generate a return on investment. In the next video, we'll look at the hidden costs. Why do projects 70% of the time go over budget? We'll also be looking at tips to optimize e-commerce implementation costs once you've gone live in maintenance and support. Again, thank you. This is Rohit Garawal with another video on answering your basic questions around digital transformation. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below, and we'll be happy to see if we can make a video to answer those questions directly for you. Thank you.